Hi, my name's Jaden, and today I'm going to be doing a presentation on the country of Barbados. Barbados is a country and an island located in the Caribbean. It is made of 11 parishes, which is kind of like states, and its capital is Bridgetown. Barbados has a numerous amount of beaches and botanical gardens. The weather is usually around the mid 80s to the low 70s, and the rainfall can vary from inland to coast. And hurricanes have affected this region because it's such an island region. A little bit of the history of Barbados is that it was settled by South Americans around 1600 BCE, but then around the 16th century, Portuguese explorers discovered this inland and they named it Barbados as the bearded ones, which there's a bit of speculation, was it because of the bearded fig trees or the bearded men on the island? But then by the 17th century, Barbados was settled by the English and it became the number one sugar plantation with West African slaves being their workers. And then by 1966, Barbados gained its independence. Little bit of the demographic is the people of Barbados are called Bajans. There is a bit of African descent from its slavery roots, and then there's European descent from the settlements. So it's more of a African descent percentage, a large percentage, but there is a little bit of everything. It's about 92.4% African descent, 3.1% African European descent, 2.7% European descent, and 1.8 being other descents, which is a bit of Asian descent, such as Syrians, Lebanese, and Chinese. They do speak English in Barbados, although with West African roots, there is a bit of inspiration in the slang and wording they may use. So there is a Bajan Creole dialect, but all in all, they do speak English. A few symbols known for Barbados is their flag, which the blue in the flag represents the sky and the sea. The gold represents the sand and the beaches. And the trident you see in the middle represents Neptune, god of the sea, which means they do have a little bit of Roman mythology intertwined with their culture. The trident is broken to represent their break from Great Britain. And something I just thought was interesting is that when the trident is inverted on the flag, that means there's usually some type of distress going on. It's kind of like a secretive thing that's going to be known within the country. In the middle is the coat of arms, which is kind of like the Barbadian crest. It was presented by the Queen to the President as a royal warrant once Barbados gained its independence. And there's a lot of things on this crest that is known for Barbados. There's two flowers, which is their national flower. The tree in the middle is a bearded tree, the bearded fig trees. The hand up top is holding up two sticks of sugarcane, which was one of their biggest exports, what they were widely known for in their plantations. There's a pelican and a dolphin, all things that just ties into Bajan roots. Barbados is majority Christianity, although from Great Britain they did take in Angelism as their denomination. The second denomination would be Pentecostal, and there's a few other religions like Methodist, Roman Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, but Christianity is 67.6% 2.5%. Atheist or no religion is 20.9%, and non-Christian is 6.2%. Bayesians do have a couple of values, but they are very important to them. Bayesians are very connected to the earth and nature. They are very kind and generous and open-minded people. They love parties. They have a lot of energy, although they are in touch with their spirituality and religion. And they are very hardworking people. Barbados has a parliamentary democratic government where the prime minister and the president are elected by the House. The House members are elected by the people. There are like 30 different factions from elections, and each representative is elected, and then that House decides the president and the prime minister. The president serves a 4-year term, and the prime minister then appoints a cabinet. The current president is Sandra Mason, and the prime minister is Mia Mottley. And there are basically two parties in Barbados, which is the Barbados Labour Party and the Democratic Labour Party. Some traditions of Barbados is deeply inspired by West African and Britain. There are landships, which are actors and dancers that imitate passages of ships through rough seas. They do this through dance and costumes similar to British Navy, but then the music is West African, so it ties in both cultures. A really popular sport in Barbados is cricket, which was played by British soldiers back in the colonial era. People also enjoy dominoes and fishing, which is an export and just for fun. And there are many festivals that Barbados celebrates. They're big on parties and festivals. Couple of holidays in Barbados is Errol Barrow Day, which was a former prime minister who fought for the independence of Barbados. There's National Heroes Day, which honors a lot of those who changed the country. There's Kadooment Day, which is basically the end of a harvest, and they just have a big festival to celebrate that. And then their Independence Day from Britain, which is also on St. Andrew's Day. Barbados is also really big on their art. You can see murals whenever you walk along buildings and boardwalks. One you see here is the South Coast Boardwalk mural. They also like doing batik, which is a technique where you dye fabric using a wax resistant, and those fabrics are used to create decorative pieces or clothing. They're also big on woodwork and fine art, like abstract art and things that just help them express themselves. Another form of expression is fashion. Of course, with it being an island and it being warm, there's a lot of breathable fashion, a lot of shorts, tank tops, just accessible to the weather. But a lot of clothing is from traditional Caribbean or African print. There's a lot of vibrant colors, and as you see during festivals, they go all out with extravagant pieces, frills, feathers, sequins, and glitter. Another big thing is the music. There's a lot of different genres of music in Barbados, such as soca, calypso, jazz, reggae, dancehall, and steel pan. They have these things called a tuk band, which are brass drum players. They also use kettle drums and a penny whistle. Barbados also has a national anthem, and just some notable artists from Barbados is the Merrymen and Red Plastic Bag. A very interesting thing I found was the food. Bajan food was very interesting to me. Of course, with it being an island and very big on fishing, there's a lot of fish-based dishes. So, and the national dish is cuckoo and flying fish. Cuckoo is a cornmeal and okra base, kind of like grits or meal, and it's served with steamed fish in a tomato-based sauce. Another dish is pudding and sauce. The pudding, which is steamed sweet potatoes, and the sauce being pickled pork. They also enjoy fish fries and macaroni pie, which is basically like a macaroni casserole. And a really popular drink is mobai, which is made by boiled mobai bark from a tree, and it's mixed with cinnamon, orange peels, nutmeg, cloves, and sugar. In Barbados, they have this thing called the Barbadian dollar. There's a $2 bill, $5 bill, $10 bill, $20, 50 to 100. And they also have their own coins, which are the 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent, and a dollar piece. Some popular museums and landmarks is the Barbados Museum, which holds their artifacts, historical documents, and maps known for the country. They have a Sunbury Plantation House, which was a house preserved from the era of slavery and large plantation work. There's the St. Nicholas Abbey, which is a rum distillery because they're also big on making their own rum in Barbados. And there's also the George Washington House, which I found interesting because Barbados is the only place George Washington has ever been outside of the Americas. He stayed there in 1751. A lot of people like to travel to Barbados just for the beaches, the nightlife, the festivals, and just to have a good time, basically. There's botanical gardens, of course, I said the beaches. You can also go on cruises. Basically, Barbados is a big vacation place, most like most places near the Caribbean. And finally, I just want to talk about some notable people born from in Barbados, such as Rihanna. She's a singer, actress, businesswoman, and a national hero of Barbados. Dougie Fresh is also born in Barbados. And another native is Red Pepper, who is a voice actor. And that is about it. I enjoyed this project and learning about this country, and I hope you did too.